Okay, welcome, especially if you're watching this on YouTube. By the way, for all of you here live, this is not one directional. This is going to really be for you guys to ask questions and to really develop yourself a game plan. And I'll tell you what the game plan is for, and that is we are back into now one of the better building times of the year. Things in our business don't always have to be, but can be a bit cyclical. In the summertime, mamas are taking care of their children that are out of school. Families are on vacation. They're a bit distracted. At the beginning of the summer, everybody wants to lose weight, but in the summer, they don't care anymore. But the fall is always good. The kids are back in school. People are very focused. Then will come, I know that Canada just had their Thanksgiving, but then comes the American Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving itself doesn't slow us down. You'll see we'll run really, 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 really perfect right till Thanksgiving Day. But what will slow things down globally and in North America, not everybody's business, but as a whole, is that once December arrives, people do begin to focus a bit on Christmas, a little bit less on weight loss, maybe a little bit more distracted on, events going on. But then we move into January 1st, where starting January 1st for really 5 months, January, February, March, April, right into sometime in May, that time frame can create wealth for you forever in any first 4 or 5 months of any year. So what I wanted to do was spend some time weekly as we progress between now and January 1st, helping everybody be ready. And the reason I said officers and above, I don't care who comes on here ever. I just don't ever want to tell somebody what they need to do to create a walkaway income if they're not here for that, because we have remember, in our type of business, we're going to have people that are here for the community. We're going to have people here for the events. We're going to have people here for extra income. We're going to have people here that quit their jobs and try to become financially independent. We're going to have people here that want financial independence, but will never have the discipline it takes to get it. And we're going to have people here that have the discipline. They just need to have the know-how to get it, because it's like any other business. If you want to be a brain surgeon, you got to learn to operate on brains. If you want to be an NFL football player, you got to learn to play football. If you want to be a very high-level network marketer, you have to learn how to do this. So what we're going to do, and the IPA call really started this way. The IPA call just has so many different levels of skill, desire, you name it. It's just really hard to teach there. So we're going to do this weekly, and I want this to be question oriented. I'm just going to get everybody started. And I will tell you that our pastor says something the other night that really resonated with me in this business, because what I have found out in this business is that the more people I try to help, the more people I end up disappointing. And the more time I give this business, the less I make everybody happy. Like, there is only one of me. And the very thing everybody prays for in this industry is a large business, but it's equally complicated on the other side, especially when you're highly committed to people, as I am. But I actually looked this morning so I would know. So I have 48,000 people in my organization. A lot of them obviously aren't doing anything, but even if I said yes to 1,000 different individuals, that fills up 3 years of meetings. So what I want to begin to do is get way better at what the pastor told me the other day, or told us the other day, and that is his job is not just to be there in the pulpit for us to bring people into the seats for him to save, but his job is to equip us in the seats to go out and save. Like, his job is to equip me to be better at bringing people to Christ, not just bring people to him to bring to Christ. So that's what I want to do in this business. I want to create a system where I can help everybody get way better at helping their people. And then I help whenever I can, which is, I never shut down. It's not, if I'm not helping you, it's not because I'm sleeping. You can ask my wife or anybody else that's around me. I work nonstop, but I've got to slow down myself a bit before I kill myself. So all of that being said, what I want to do is go through just a couple of things this morning that will begin, and this is leader talk. This is not, hey, let's go get your first rep talk. This is leader talk. So that's the reason I always kind of preempt it that way. Like, we all have to become good presenters that want to build a big business. That's like telling me that you want to play NFL football and you can't catch a football. There's a gap there. Like, we're not really going to be able to play NFL football if we can't catch football. So it's the same thing in our business. If I cannot present this business in a short, quick, 8 to 10 minute fashion, and then if I'm in a home party or a little bit bigger event, maybe a little bit longer, then I'm probably never going to have a great big business. So that's going to be number one thing we're going to work on is helping everybody get comfortable presenting. Number two, and I'm going to share my screen for this because this is what I'm going to show you here is the magic, and it's also what's complicated things a bit. And that is called taprooting. So I'm going to walk you through so the Kim Gray leg for me does approximately 500,000 volume a week. That would include those of you on the call, like all of you Arbonne ladies are in that leg. Susan Frank, Susan, Susan Cameron, all above it. It was a re-entry with Ken Bailey years and years ago that Kim came through. So that's actually the Susan Frank leg too. So it is a freaking massive leg. But I want to show you how it was built. That way, 2 years from now, because that's all it's been. It's been 2 years. This leg is up 500,000 a week in 2 years. So I'm going to show you how it happened, and then you're just going to go repeat it, and I'm going to help you, and you're going to ask all the questions you want. So I met this lady in a wheelchair, and I met her where she was that day, and that was she had zero interest in this business, but she wanted to lose weight and feel better, and she was not good at it. And she had a million questions, but she had the one thing that I needed. And this is the part that you have to have discernment on. You cannot help someone physically or financially that does not have the desire to help themselves. I don't care what they say. You'll know if it's talk or if it's real desire, but what they do by their daily actions. So I knew this lady had desire for better physically. So I committed to her and I helped her basically every day. It was either a conversation on the phone, tweaking something in her diet, calling and asking a doctor what was going on. And we built a relationship. And once she got 4 or 5 months in, she decided that she wanted to build a business. So she obviously couldn't present. She had never built anything like this before because she'd been on disability her whole life. She had zero contacts. Like, she didn't have a sphere of influence. Nobody respected her from a money making standpoint. So the chances of her having success without me at that point was zero. So what I did is I told her I would help her. All she had to do is get people to listen and I would present. So that's what I want everybody to write down. Like, I've said this to everybody probably here if you're on my team, but I've realized I can't be there every second for everybody anymore. It's just not possible. So now I've got to teach everybody how to do what I did, and that is be there. And a lot of you are doing this already. A lot of you are way down this path already. Maybe I'm just confirming with you. But for her, because at that time it was a payline for me and I was trying to build it, I was available for 3 ways. I was available for Zooms, but most importantly, I was just available. If she told me to drive 2 hours and meet somebody at lunch without her because she set it up, I went 2 hours and met somebody at lunch without her. So again, I'm talking to leaders. If you're not a leader and you don't want to do those kind of things, like, it's never a requirement here. I'm just going to walk through how to make the big money. So then I'm still recruiting on that leg. So then, wrong picture. So then, where'd they go? I think I erased the picture I needed. But then I signed up Walt, and I don't have him for some reason. It disappeared on me. But Walt was a big guy bulldozing my land. And I met him where he was. He had inflammation, wanted to lose weight. And he had one person on planet Earth he wanted me to show the business to. And we eventually showed that person, Robin. And then Robin did not want to do our business. And she's held true to that statement. She's never done it, but she did want to sell skinny drops, and she did. So I stepped in and helped her. And Ashley stepped in and helped her start converting some of those customers to brand partners. And you're looking at three of those people we converted there: Stephanie Wilson, Sonia Barber, and Ashley Antley. And then that led to Sonia Barber signing up her daughter-in-law, Val, which led to Shay and Mandy and Dothan. And that was a big piece of this business in that time frame. They've both done exceptionally well. And that led to Ashley Antley, who signed up Krista on one leg and Tammy Croft on the other. And obviously we got her husband involved. And then that led, Tammy Croft's post led to Chris and Joni, and Krista led to Jody, which has now led to all Dr. D, all the great ones now, Connie, Amanda, all the ones now that are on that leg. And then that led to Christy, which led, as you can see, to all the groups now growing up in Canada. It's a pass it on business, but it's all tap rooted down. And I literally met every one of those people in almost every organization, one by one by one. So if you want to be a massive, massive leader here, and you want to build a big team, and you want to have the problem of too many people asking you for help, I just showed you the roadmap. So what I'm going to do now, and we're going to begin to teach this every Monday. We're going to do a Monday IPA call where I'm going to teach each thing weekly, but I'm not going to be one directional. It's going to be very open. It's the whole reason I started the IPA call, because I think one directional teaching, I learned this in the classroom and on the football field, that one directional teaching, very little retention ever occurs. So I want this to be a question answer once I laid the format out. So I'm going to pause, and you guys, and if you can, stay as much on track as you can on, like, how do I present? How do you taproot? What are the environments you do that in? Like, what do you guys want to know that are out there that have a crazy desire to go really do something big here, and you're just grasping for exactly how to get that done? And I'm open for all questions. There are no dumb ones, by the way.
Hey, Todd, it's Risha. Good morning.
Hey, Risha. Hey, Risha.
I'm in beautiful Winnipeg, Manitoba. Eventually, I'll get home from Dallas. Todd, can we do a training, maybe not in this call, but a training on how to teach people to do the 10-minute presentation?
Yes. And Risha, I actually will have y'all's ready today. I've been working on it. I just kept getting sidetracked in my travels. But I will help each person do this. It doesn't have the capacity, but I will get everybody a little 10 or 12 minute presentation with their group. That's going to be like 12 or 13 slides. I'm going to give an example real quick, and then we'll actually, Sarah, write this down. We will start with this on our first training next Monday, how to do the 10-minute presentation. That will be the entire time for people to ask questions, tweak, or whatever. So there's two presentations we do. The longer presentation in a bigger environment, but we have to have this little 10-minute consistent duplicatable presentation that can convert customers to brand partners, even on reach out, that, like, when you get that person, their initial 10 minutes, they're not going to be paying attention much longer than 10 minutes. If they've got a questions, wonderful. We stay on the phone answering questions for 2 hours. But the one directional conversation, 10 to 12 minutes, or you're starting to go backwards. And that's been a given my entire time in the industry. So we'll teach that 100%, Risha. By the way, Risha, you do as good a job as anybody I know of taking charge of your team. Like when I went into Vancouver Island and Vancouver for Risha, both of those meetings had 100 people. I presented, she provided all the pictures. They had all the potluck food set out. So Risha, I will probably pull a lot of stuff out of you, like what you're thinking in your head, because you are a leader's leader already. I'm so impressed.
Thank you, Todd. But it's all about the team. I've got great leaders in both Victoria and the Parksville location. So it's all up to them. All I do is orchestrate from the top, kind of thing. It's all about them.
So just know next Monday, and if anybody wants me to have one prepared for you and your team, you're welcome to tell me, but you've got to help me out and send me the pictures, before and after pictures of the team you want highlighted. It doesn't take me but a second to build it. And then more importantly, maybe the next Monday, or even if we have time on that Monday, I'll share my screen and show you how quickly and easy it is to change these pictures out. Once you have a formatted PowerPoint, like it's 2 seconds to change a couple pictures out on your own. Um, and there is a particular reason that we use iPhones. It's not because we think iPhones are better than Androids. That's up for debate. Obviously, there's two sides to that story. But in the network marketing world, the ability to share, collaborate, build things together, it's just not even in the same universe. So for anybody that wants to be a leader, I highly recommend. And Sarah, you can speak to that because you were an Android person until I told you you had to switch over. What was your opinion once you made the switches? Not comparing the two phones, but comparing it for the business.
It made my life so much easier. I was easily able to access everything that Todd had, whereas with my Android, I was limited. I had to worry about converting it, figuring out how to convert it. It's just it was a massive handicap for sure. I still have it. I still train with it. I wish it was an iPhone though. So
So other questions. By the way,
Todd,
yeah, go ahead.
I got a question, and then I got a follow-up question that we'll handle. It's right exactly what we're talking about today. One of our newest officers has a person on their team who has sent out emails, stuff like, don't taproot my team. And my thinking is, where does my team begin and yours end? Is my team. Any thoughts on that? I tried to find what is the reasoning for your those type of feelings.
All right. So that is so number one, it's not an exact science. Number two, it requires a lot of discernment. And although I have a lot from all the years experience, I don't always get it right. Um, because sometimes the best thing you can do is get out of a leader's way. And sometimes if you don't intercede and go around them, they're going to kill their own business and not even realize what they're doing. Um, so it is very tough. It actually happened with you and your organization. I had to go around some leaders to get to you to stabilize things, and it was not easy. Like there's very strong, good leaders. Like it wasn't their fault. You came in on a different plane than they were ready for, and so I went around anyway. So I will sometimes go around at the risk of making someone upset at me because long term, I know for sure I'm not going to do anything to mess it up. I'm going to do my very best to help everybody make more money. But I've also been wrong. Like I've gone around sometimes when I should have just got out of the way and let them find their way through it. So it's really hard. So I will tell you most of the time, 99.99% of the time, I only show up when called. Meaning that if you don't get outbound calls from me, it's not because I don't like you, it's just because I don't bother you. So, but I always return anytime somebody's calling and asking for questions or help. So I'll give you an example. Two of my very best leaders in the whole company that do everything right is Susan Cameron and Susan Frank. Um, so I have to be really careful with them because they are very adamant on how they do things. All the leaders in their business don't do the same thing that they do. So I have to be conscious of that, but I also have to be conscious that I don't ever go into their meetings and give much of my opinion on anything because they've done quite well without my opinion. Um, but what they do know now is where I can help them. I have some product knowledge that they need to get their business diversified out and auto ships higher. And dish the third voice, a man voice, really in that team. They're very woman heavy. So with them, I'll give you as an example what I do with them now. We do a call once a week with them, and they usually have a couple hundred people on there, and they tell me what they want me to train on. So the last 2 weeks, it has been 2 or 3 products that are different each time that I train into their team. It allows them to stay very single voiced on drops only on the front lines, which is their mantra that makes them move so fast. And then I come in and train the back end of how to diversify out in the product. So kind of visualize that now, not what I'm doing, but what you can do for your teams. Like identify what you think they may be not doing well at, where you can come in and help without upsetting them, And I talked that through with Susan and Susan. Like I told them individually, everything I'm telling y'all. Like I just said, listen, I'm trying, because they would call for help, and then I would come in and I would say something about a 4-pack, and they would get mad because I was supposed to only say 10 and 30 packs. So all that's normal. Like remember, we're all human. We're all in a moving target here, and we're all trying to do our very best. So, but I will tell you, if it is a pay line, and I'm dealing with people without much experience, most of the time they're just selfish in their thinking, very singular in everything. So a lot of times I will go around a brand new person, because if I don't, they're going to kill them off. They're going to take them off the energy. They're going to separate them out and try to do things a different way. And so I generally will go around a brand new person. And I've done that very few times that everybody didn't end up really, really happy long term. So you do have to be careful, but sometimes you've got to, Fred. And I don't know that particular situation, so you probably couldn't tell me and me give you a good answer. That's something you have to really have a lot of feel for to know when to do that and when not to. And listen, every leader here knows, and everybody that's ever built a big team knows that's $1 million question at all times. Like, where do you help? Where do you get in people's way? Same with y'all. Like, I'm nervous about doing these calls because every leader here is not the same. Like, some of you have massive teams, some of you have massive ability, and some of you are trying to, make a paycheck. And that's a whole issue. So I have to be very careful here too, because I don't want to tell somebody to go around somebody and you're not good at it either. So it's like, it's a trick question is what I'm trying to say. And that, what my desire is on these calls, we're going to start every Monday, and we're going to run them consistently all the way to the new year. And then the new year, we'll switch gears and we'll just start driving the baby home then. We're going to get everybody prepared for the new year leading up to then. But my desire is that you'll just hear my brain. This brain has made 25 million in network marketing, and I've had hundreds of thousands in my organization, and I can't even count how many people that have become millionaires that came through me that are in this company or scattered throughout the world in other network marketing companies now. So it is, the knowledge is there. I'm not perfect though, by any stretch of the imagination. I am human, and I have my own flaws. I have my own personal issues. Like, never put me on a pedestal. I'm a high school football coach that joined this industry for extra income, and I made my mind up to get good at it. And it's been a relentless quest for 20 plus years. So I just hope I can just help the next person get to where they want to be. That's really my only desire. My income is more than enough to take care of me now and my family. Does anybody want to make more money? Of course, we all would like to have a little bit more. I think that's the way God made us, but it's not what I chase. I can promise you, I am not chasing more money.
Todd, I was going to suggest, this is Christy, on reaching out, down and taprooting, it's just communication. It really is communication with that individual and how they feel. And if they don't want you contacting their people, there might be some reasons for it. But okay, if that person is out of business and not working their business or inactive, then I say it's kind of open. I mean, that's how I feel. With a level of time, maybe they've been a year and you're like, okay, they're not coming back. That's an opportunity for you to be teaching and teaching. But if they are in and active and you're wanting to talk to their people, it's about communication.
Yeah, Brent Palmer says that all the time, that communication solves all problems. So overly communicate, and you always got to, and I have to remember that more than 50% of communication is listening, not talking. That's the reason I want this to be, as you guys want to learn how to do this, the reason I don't want to just tell you what I want you to know, because everybody's at a different spot. I need to, y'all ask me where your brain is, and I'll try to give you things. And Sarah, their hands raised. I guess everybody's being polite. I didn't realize that. So Sarah,
Okay,
what you call people?
so I'm up next, my friend. Let me
Okay.
just ask, as we go forward and you help us with this 10-minute presentation or whatever, I'm just going to ask that the branding stay, for me and my deck, whatever, the branding stay in alignment with the colors, the greens, the whites. I love what Partner Co has out there right now. We've got blue decks, we've got green decks, we've got ombre decks. We did what we had to do.
So this is the piece, Steph, that I agree.
Yeah.
Understand, I agree.
Okay.
But understand that I walk into meetings. I'll use Risha. I walked into her meetings, and her meetings were bigger than anybody's meeting I've ever walked into, like on her own. Like very few people put 150 people in a room for me to come speak to ever in my whole network marketing career without a lot of help from me. She did it all on her own, and she had her own slide deck, her own way, and I'm never going to go in and tell her how to do it. But I will make every leaders exactly the way they want it, and then you can transform that through your organization. But I'm in agreement. The more we can all stay on partner co colors, the better it is for all of us, especially as we cross pollinate each other's meetings. So just know that if you're a leader and you're using colors outside of that, it would be good for us to align. If you don't want to, you're not going to hear from me. But that I do agree with you, Steph, 100%.
So do you need me then or Sarah to create this basic 10-minute slide presentation where we can insert our people in or whatever slides we want out of their brand?
So the answer is yes.
Sarah,
would
you
love
and
for
I
you
can
and
work
Sarah to
together.
create a basic slide deck. And
Excellent.
yes,
Excellent. Thank
yes,
you.
and
Sarah.
yes.
Okay.
And anybody else is really good at PowerPoints. With Keynote and Apple, we can actually fix it where we're all working together. And all I got to do is duplicate and rename it for the next team. So once I get that, but so Sarah can put you and me and her in a thread, and we'll start working on that ASAP. And then if somebody else wants to be a part of that, they can. And then I'll separate that out, and we'll bring other leaders in with Sarah. And then I'm going to use Sarah a lot more because it was really starting to bog me down helping everybody do that. And because that's another thing I got to teach. The pastor hit me in the forehead. Like I've got to teach people to help themselves more than I help them. That's probably my number one weakness is I'm a people pleaser, and instead of teaching the next person how to build a PowerPoint, I just do it for them. But these initial ones I'm going to get done because I want to teach how to present next Monday, and we're all out here presenting. And the fall is our practice ground, but you need, not me, not the company, you need an army of presenters armed and ready for January 1st in your organization, because those of you who have that, you're going to see something occur in your organization you cannot imagine. Because again, no matter if you get perfect at this, there's only one of you. So very soon, it doesn't take many three-ways and Zooms and your job and your kids and your spouse and all your life that you're out of time too. So we want to get, like, the number one objective is arming people to present, to taproot, to build leaders, to be able to edit, change out slides, because everybody that's been at some of these bigger meetings that sees the power of people in the room on the slideshow, you don't have to do this for your Zooms. The Zooms don't matter. They don't know anybody anyway. But in these bigger meetings, if you can walk in there and change out 8 or 10 pictures in 5 minutes in that same formatted situation that Steph was just talking about, the mileage you will get out of that room is unbelievable, because people want, just like we see on the IPA call every morning, people want to be seen and heard. Like I said, 90% of us probably are originally here for the community as much as we're here for anything, because the world is hard. It can be lonely in a job we don't like, and maybe our kids are gone, whatever it is that, there's a lot of reasons people are here besides money. That's all I'll tell you.
Todd, we're 6 weeks going into Black Friday. What are the top 3 to 5 steps that you would recommend anybody to do to maximize this powerful event coming to us?
Thank you, Risha. Okay, this is extremely, extremely, extremely important. So important, I'm actually going to share my screen to make sure you have the visual with it. Thank you, Risha. That was actually in my notes, and I skipped over that. I was about to miss it. It was actually one of the number one things I wanted to accomplish, because I want to accomplish 2 things. I want to get everybody prepared for the spring blowout, or the first of the year blowout, but I also want everybody to be able to go to Park City to the Leadership Summit. So let's look at this real quick. I'm just going to use Bob Budd's PowerPoint. He's got a good one here that will show this. Okay. All right. So the Leadership Summit, by the way, we got people in the waiting room, Sarah. Got them. So the Leadership Summit in Park City in January, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody's the analytical mind, but you got to be in the top 100 at least one time, and you must make CEO one time during the qualifying period. to do that, you see there's three
Excuse me,
legs.
Todd, Sarah's internet has crashed and she cannot let these people in. Can you let them in? She just texted me.
I did. They're in.
Okay.
And I'm going to make the first person I can find a co-host. I can't actually do that with my computer. I got it set up now where I can let them in. Okay, so the first three legs there, 13 through 34, it does not have to be on three legs though. It can be scattered out over how many legs you're doing, but you're going to need 26,000 in volume, whether that be new volume bonus and or base pay, 26,000 volume or 26, whatever that is, 26,600 and something, about 26,700. You're going to need that in volume to qualify. That's what makes you CEO for the week. So now to specifically answer Risha's question, and this is going to be especially prevalent to those that have not gone into a Black Friday before with a team. So understand that the sales the company will put out on the Friday after the American Thanksgiving, which we call Black Friday, the first big shopping day for Christmas, the last 2 years have upped sales, really probably doubled sales for that week. I mean, the paychecks and the title advancements that have occurred that week, the last 2 years, is mind blowing. But if you're sitting there by yourself or only with 3 or 4 people on a leg or two, then you don't really get to enjoy that side of it. You get to go buy the products at a big discount, so it's fun on that side. But you want the other side too, where your paycheck basically doubles for a week. It won't sustain that high. You have to understand this is a business. It's not going to double and stick, but it will make a big impact. A lot of people can make all of their Christmas money that week. But what I would be doing right now, if I was anybody that had not qualified at CEO for that event, is I would make sure I had at least 3 legs growing. I would be taprooting down those legs. I would be presenting. I would be recruiting onto those legs and building as hard and as fast as I could. Because remember, you're in a great building time again right now. Like this, people are really receptive right now. And we're in Canada and the US both. There's nobody that doesn't need more money. Like people are open for better health and better finances if you're a good presenter and can overcome their objections. So get that growing and get it in position for those Black Friday sales to hit. John Oakey said this yesterday morning that it's just 9 ultimates. So if they come out with some 10-pack discounts on drops or other product big discounts or packages, and the equivalent of 9 ultimates hit 3 legs, you're optimized without anything else. So it's going to take a lot less people than you think on an event like that. So get your business situated. Understand, start telling your mind now that the 3 weeks surrounding Christmas may not be as good as the 3 weeks leading up to that 3 weeks. It's just the dynamics. But a avalanche is coming about January 5th. And those who work hard and prepare through December for that avalanche get the biggest results. I signed Walt up in February of 2023. And I want to say it took us 2 months to get Robin in. So that was March, April. We were beginning of May. And that leg optimized 2 weeks later and never didn't optimize again. And that leg was only probably doing maybe 3,000 a week before then. And so like it just hit perfect timing. I caught a lot of people wanting to lose weight for summer. It was right in that pre-summer time frame where the drops just they just jumping off the social media screens like no tomorrow. You can do the same for your businesses. You got to understand, we haven't even, like Partner Co hasn't even started yet. And maybe this is one thing I should share. Let me unshare the screen where I can see everybody better. Is that we live in a Partner Co ecosystem. We're friends with each other on Facebook. We show up on the IPA call. Like it's just us. And that can play tricks on your brain. You think, oh, everybody knows about Partner Co because my friends on Facebook know, and the people I see show up every morning know. But listen, you could throw the entire United States of America in Dallas, Texas, and we would hardly ever bump into each other. Maybe never. We haven't even started yet. This thing is a baby. although the company did over 300 million in revenue, that's scattered between 50 countries in the world. And the United States has just recently even became one of the fastest growing countries. We were always getting killed by Europe and China and Japan. So finally, we're at least holding our own, but this baby hadn't started yet. Like there's no good meetings basically anywhere. There's maybe 12 spots in the United States we could put this North American tour in and get a crowd. And although we've sent great pictures of great crowds that we had on that tour in Canada, I'm sure they're going to have more great pictures coming starting again this Friday when it resumes back up after Thanksgiving. All those leaders and Lucy do a good job. Canada hasn't even started yet. Like that's in a dozen spots, and you could throw every single person in the whole company in one of those spots and you still couldn't find each other. I'm talking about a decent spot like a Calgary or a Vancouver, some bigger place. So it's empty everywhere. And so we just have to, I'm just going to review. We have to master our presentation. We have to master our ability to taproot through people, because you'll never recruit your way to wealth. And you're never going to sign up the person to make you rich. And I like to remind people, Susan Frank did not make me rich. Susan Frank was a mama of a baby that wouldn't even stand up and introduce me in front of her meeting when I met her. I poured time into her, and then God gifted her with more skill than I had. So later on, she became a huge piece of my business, independent of my willingness to help her or not. But early on, nobody would have known her name. Kim Gray, she was in a wheelchair on disability. Robin Perone, she had zero interest in building a business. She was just willing to sell skinny drops on social media. We had to go around her and build the Ashley Antleys in. Ashley Antley was only a drop seller. I had to get to Reese to find somebody that would stabilize into the business. And then, Reese, are you with me?
I am.
You got home. Oh, there he is.
Can you talk, Reese? Or are you at work?
No, I'm out here sitting with Ashley.
So maybe you and Ashley both could talk about that for a minute, because Ashley was a drop sales girl. She had the vision. She sold. She stood up to you. She made the connection between you and I, but you then became the one that actually began to go out and actually build daily through people, the tap rooting part of it. You want to walk people through that? Because watching y'all, you're the classic example. I mean, forever and always now, you and Ashley are better at this than me. I'll never be as good as y'all again. You're so much more gifted by God than I am. But early on, you wouldn't have existed without me. And that's where I think people get lost. They're thinking, I just got to go find a Reese. No, you got to go help Reese create himself. And then y'all take it from there now. Sorry.
Yeah, Ashley's over there eating, so I don't, unless she wants to talk. So when Ashley started this, of course, she was just selling drops, like you said. Had Ashley Rowland not went and started communicating, Ashley and Kim started communicating with Ashley Antley, my wife, it would have just been, Ashley would have just sold drops around here, would have probably never known about the company, really how deep it was and what was possible. And then, but they spent time with Ashley, which then that meant Ashley spending time with me and showing me, what it was and staying on me and finally getting me in front of you. And then it was, like I mean, then you working with me. I mean, and me being on Zooms and Ashley, Ashley selling drops and learning that side. And that was one of the things like I struggled with very early on was like, I'm not a great recruiter. So how am I ever going to do this? Ashley's a great recruiter, but a lot of these people aren't working out, things like that. So it was like, how do you really do that? But what I noticed, what I really started to notice, and even more lately, is how Todd, how Brent, how these different people have built through all the way down through the organizations, generational levels deep. I know being on a call last night, with Connie and them talking about how deep they were in our organization. And some of them are like, why are you spending time with us and things like that? But that's how it grows. It grows only as deep as you can go and keep that rolling. And that's what I've seen. Had you not spent that time with me, had you not developed that relationship with me, then Ashley and I wouldn't be where we are. Had Ashley not said yes and spent the time to help and develop the system, we wouldn't be where we are. It's all those pieces, but having somebody to pour into you, So just like our lives, you know, our walk in faith and things like that, you have to be discipled. You can't do this on your own, man. There's no way. I mean, there's a few people out there that can make it on their own, but you have to have that. You have to have that into you, and then you have to become that. It just follows the biblical model of making disciples. You help develop disciples so that you can help develop disciples, and you keep working, and you as soon as that is disciple is set and out in the world, you move to the next disciple. You know, that's just like Todd. How often do you and I speak right now? Very, very not often at all. I mean, we might, and when we talk, we're not even hardly talking business normally. We usually are just talking football or something like that. So we just keep, you know, because you're working with people on my team, on this team, on my legs, on Ashley's legs.
Oh, he fell off. But I am going to mention how Reese and I tag team that is he got Ashley Antley signed up a girl named Krista Williams. And Krista can be great at this. She just has been inconsistent. But Krista got us to a lady named Jody. Jody was in about an hour from me. I went and did a meeting for Jody one night, developed a relationship with Jody. Krista also met me there. Reese couldn't be there then. He wasn't quite as committed yet. And then Jody fumbled around a good bit, but eventually got this doctor in Birmingham, Alabama to agree to do a three-way with me. It took her a long time. We finally got on the three-way. I could tell this doctor had tremendous potential, but that he was really smart and really standoffish, and that there was no chance I was going to get this doctor without an in-person encounter. So I immediately told this doctor that if he would give me 30 minutes, I would drive to Birmingham, Alabama and buy him a cup of coffee and just meet with him in person. I said, I come through every couple of weeks anyway. And we arranged that. And I sat down with this doctor and I got this doctor excited and I got him signed up for Jody. And I immediately called Reese on a FaceTime and I introduced him to the doctor in person. And I said, Reese is going to be your main guy helping you. You're in what's called his payline. And I set up a time for Reese and him and I to do some Zooms. Then Reese and I and him, because if I just hand him off immediately, he doesn't know Reese yet. And he's still really fragile. So Reese and I do some combined Zooms with him. We sign up a couple of people there that lead us to a lady named Connie. Connie, are you here by chance? And then Connie was the one through the taprooting that Reese actually connected to. She was the one that said, people tell you anything. You have to learn not to listen to what people say. So when people call me and want to be trained, I say, here's your training. If I'm working, this is a payline training, not a leader training, but a payline training for a brand new person. Put me on three ways in Zooms and you're going to learn more than I could ever teach you by osmosis, watching me how I handle all the situations and how I present. And then over time, I'll start backing down on what I say and making them say more and more until eventually they're doing it all. That's what Reese and I did together for a long time. So that's what I did with the doctor. By the time we got to Connie, Reese was at the forefront of all of those Zooms. And then Reese and Connie connected completely. And when that occurred is when I now go back to the conversation I had with Fred. That is when I stopped taprooting. I had taprooted the whole thing for Reese until we got to Connie. But once we hit Connie, she then wasn't what she said. She then began to set up Zooms, three ways, living rooms. Hey, Reese, can you come here? Hey, Reese, can you go there? Hey, Reese, I need you here. Hey, Reese, I need this. And then Reese locked in. And now Reese is taprooting through Connie. And that's led him now to Amanda and Dr. D, just a whole number of great human beings that Reese is now working with in Alabama, Louisiana, Tennessee, all from Krista, right down the street from her, from Jody, from the doctor that I drove and had the coffee with. So every one of those encounters, when Reese now optimizes, this is Reese's pay leg, Canada was his power leg. So every one of those encounters were important to Reese now optimizing his leg weekly. And everybody will look and say, well, hey, Reese, how do you do that? It was a whole bunch of days and meetings that at the time weren't that fruitful. They just were a piece of the puzzle getting it there. And you just have to be consistent with that. And I will add, know when to abandon ship. There are times I lock arms with somebody and it becomes 100% one-dimensional, meaning that I'm giving their business way more time than I'm giving it myself. If it's my pay line, it doesn't matter. But if it's coded out, I can't go give it more than that person's giving it themselves. It's their money. It's not mine. At that point, if it's my pay line, I'm taprooting no matter what, because I can win for us both. So it depends on where you are. You have to be wise enough to know that. But I'll say one last thing there. And Reese, if you're back, you can add in. Reese hit Chris and Joni Bud, and in 1 week, that became his power leg. If Reese had been like 95% of the other leaders in my business, he would have abandoned it and thrown it all on me. It was my power line too. Just nobody ever knows that with me. But I couldn't have done all that by myself. Like, I was having to manage my business here, and Canada's been very, 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 very complicated. We're starting to get amazing leaders up there now. All that weight's now been taken off. Both Reese and I can never thank all of y'all enough. But early on, like, Reese worked a business relentlessly, 24 hours a day, solving problems that in the moment was not paying him. Remember, it was only matching check, and matching check didn't start showing up until all of those leaders actually started making money. So there was at least about a 60 to 90-day leeway between him working 24 hours a day and the matching check starting to show up to reward him for his efforts. But he spent enough time with me and heard me say enough that you need two optimizing legs. If you have one, drive the baby home, one down, one to go. If you have two, you're at plus 200,000 a year for life if it's optimizing weekly. And if you have three, you're about 500,000 a year for life. If you have four, you're approaching $1 million. So so until a leg is doing a couple $100,000 a week, I would never let up, because why would you? You don't want it to return on you. You're trying to build a walkaway income. Even if, and it's no different than any other business in the world. Every business in the world you could possibly start will underpay you early on. As a matter of fact, most traditional businesses you will lose money in for the first year or two. Mike and Lisa, I see y'all here. How long does it take you to get a dry cleaners up and operational?
So Todd, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of money, and a lot of pain. You're looking at a year and a half to 2 years, and that's even the special way that we do it, because I put in really affordable equipment. But for most traditional dry cleaners, you're looking at 2, 3, 4 years before you're looking at some money.
So it's okay to overwork here early on as far as your income showing you that, because so the other piece about your dry cleaners, you obviously can sell them. There is a sellable asset, but if you don't show up or don't have really good employees you're giving most of your money to, does it make you any money? I mean, I know that was the whole reason y'all searched this industry out.
Yeah, that's 100% why. The number one, the rents, the landlords, employees, all that good stuff. There's a little bit of residual on that, but it's not exponential like this. It stops at the end of the sale. When we sell it, we got to go build another one.
So, Mike, I'm going to ask you a hard question, and I want straight honesty, because this is a group of leaders. So Mike and Lisa are business owners. They're very headstrong. They're entrepreneurs. They're more successful in business than I am. But Mike and Lisa were those leaders that I went around and taprooted Fred's business with. Will you share like how it made you feel, both negative and bad? Because listen, that's a real question, and I know I upset y'all at times.
Well, not necessarily, maybe not in the way that you think, but there, if we had to put it in reality, we were here before the system of growth. We were here during the making of the sausage, so to speak. So it was a very confusing time. Which way do we go? What do we do? What system do we follow? And then we started seeing this thing take off, which we loved, but in the same time, we didn't really know. We hadn't seen it, and we certainly hadn't seen it for ourselves. But we knew that Fred had years and years of experience. One of my fears was, I don't want to take Fred down the wrong road, because I know this in this industry. I know dry cleaning like the back of my hand, but the last thing I wanted to do was take him or anybody else in the wrong direction. So in all honesty, we absolutely are overwhelmed with gratitude for you doing that. Matter of fact, we just had a meeting with the team talking about taprooting and talking about the power of it, because you can't do it on your own. It's got to happen that way. And now the paycheck that we get every week from that, we're even more grateful.
All right. And can I say one thing, Todd? We are not offended ever people. We're not that type of people. So we appreciate everything that you all do for us. Everything.
I'll give y'all one other example where I went around, and this is a story you can't make up, but everybody's about to hear about it anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. So the person who actually sponsored Kim Gray was one of my really good friends, and when we were bought by New Age and became Partner Co., he got very disillusioned in that transition and did not make the transition. And I had to really step in hard to protect Kim's business. And it ran him off. And he sold his business for a large amount of income. He sold it for a big amount. Good for him. But he just re-signed up in Reese Antley's business under Kim Gray. So he's a classic example of no matter what people say or do, they want better health and more money. Like, that part never changed when he went away upset. He still didn't have an answer for his retirement. And he's back. He actually spoke at our meeting the other night and did an excellent job. I'll let him show up in public when he chooses. I won't mention his name until then. But like, I couldn't be more happy he's back. Like, I never held a grudge, but I will protect the business at all costs, because it affects all of us. And so just know that if I ever have offended anybody taprooting around you, it was, in my mind at least, for the good of all. And then you have to understand the same for your businesses. Like, this is not about Todd. This is about y'all. I am only here to share my brain. And if I share stories of myself, it's not to talk about it. It's just to get you an insight of how things develop. But I don't want to go much longer, other than if there's another question, I'll answer it. And then I'm going to tell everybody the game plan starting next Monday. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Todd, can you speak on when you're traveling and being prepared for these presentations, not one-on-ones, but when you're doing big presentations, what cords, what technical stuff are you taking with you to connect to the TV, to connect to the Wi-Fi, maybe a portable speaker, anything like that?
So let's do all of this coming Monday, because it's not going to take me that long to do the 10-minute presentation. So Sarah, we're going to cover 10-minute presentation, how to Zoom, how to travel, how to living room, all cords, all devices that I use. And I'm going to give you the short answer, but I'm going to explain it. I have actually three. Let me hang on one second. Do it yet. I have three. Shoot, got my background on. I can't figure out how to get it off. I have three 13-inch iPads and Magic Keyboard. Same thing you and I have texted about. I know you ordered one. The reason I carry multiple ones is so I can live stream into Facebook on one while I'm presenting on another. It just saves me. It's very important that you have cellular on it. You don't need three, you need one. I don't know why I even said three. You don't need three, you need one. The reason for that particular device is it is universal. So listen, I've been doing this for 20 years, so there's nothing that you could possibly do that I have not done. I've carried my PC around, my projector around, my clicker around. I've done it all through the years. This is a million times better, because if you will go and buy an Apple TV with this, and you have an Apple phone, everything syncs together 24/7. So if I change a PowerPoint, every device it changes on the second I change it. If I've got Sarah attached to it, it changes for Sarah that second. If she does something for me, it changes automatically for me. But when I walk in to a living room, 90% of all living rooms now have a smart TV. And I will ask that person before I arrive, do you have a smart TV? If they say yes, when I walk in the door, I tell them. Matter of fact, people that I've done meetings for that I show up late, no, I'm telling them to meet me at the door with their Wi-Fi. Because to connect to their smart TV, you have to be on the Wi-Fi that TV is on. But that's it. Once you do that, you'll just swipe down, share screen, put in a little 4-digit code, it pops up on the screen, and you're shared. And this iPad gives me universal, like, I don't have to hook in, there's no HDMIs needed, nothing. And then if I'm in a bigger meeting and we don't have a smart TV, all I need is a little HDMI cord in my Apple TV, and I hook that Apple TV in, and I just share to the Apple TV, and then the Apple TV will share onto the projector. So I never have to worry about all the cumbersome, methodical stuff of plugging in. Now, I will tell you, Mark, because anytime you're dealing with technology, you have to have backup plans. So I also carry an HDMI cord, and because I'm using this Apple, and I also have it on my iPhone, so I always have the adapter, which is called USB-C to HDMI adapter. I'm going to not share my screen, my background next Monday when I train on this. I'll show you every device, but I will always have a way I can hardwire in if something goes wrong. And it actually went wrong the last 2 days of my Canadian tour I was just on. Both of those huge meetings I walked into, I was surrounded by people asking questions. And for whatever reason, my Apple TV would not sync. I could not get it to work. So I had to hardwire in both of those meetings. So if I hadn't been prepared, it would have been a disaster. But I'm always prepared. So you got to have layers of protection if you become a leader as those meetings grow. Because when you walk in, even a drop talk, if there's only 2 guests there, and this is a great way to end and give y'all, well, I got 2 hands raised. They had a guy that made way more than I've made in the industry. And he told me one time, he said, because the company we were a part of, that he was making about 400,000 a month in, he said they'd made a couple of changes and it had caused us to lose some reps. And he said to me, he said, do you realize that just losing one person we could have had could cost one day tens of millions of dollars, because you don't know who that one person could have led to. So I will tell you, whether you're speaking to 100 or it's just one person that's been fighting for 3 months to get that person on a Zoom or into a drop talk living room meeting, that if you're the one that's supposed to be there to help them, that's the reason that hell or high water, if I am booked with somebody, it is going to take an act of Congress for me to cancel, because I know the effort on their side is a million times greater than the effort on my side to just get there and present for them. So that is a responsibility we have as a leader once we get up and going. And I'm not perfect on that, Eric. Probably everybody on here disappointed in some way or another, supposed to be there to help you and didn't. Like, I'm not perfect, but it is on my mind all of the time. And it's got to be on your mind all of the time, because we're in the business of helping the next person, not disappointing them. Kimberly.
Hey Todd, this has been so helpful. I have a question for somebody like me who's newer to the industry and the tap rooting.
Yes.
So my pay line, I have a lot of people on my pay line, but no one's really working it. And on my power line, what are the basics of tap rooting? How do
So
I
this
know
is
how
a
to do it?
whole training. So this will be one of our Monday trainings just on tap rooting.
Right.
And this is what I always tell people. Nothing here happens by accident. So, Ann Washington happens to be popping up on my screen. I just see her. Nobody's promoting more people right now than her team. Like, she has more people going officer, senior officer, CEO than anybody. It's not by accident. They're working hard. And then you say, well, she was in another company. Well, yeah, she might have been, but she obviously paid a price there, developed relationships, had developed a sphere of influence. Like, nothing's accidental ever. Everything is by design. Can you get lucky here? Yes. It's not likely, though. This is a business, and you're going to get over time what your skill set and effort deserves. So let's specifically answer that now. When you wake up today, you have 2 choices on a pay leg. Somebody in that leg gets you somebody to present or talk to, or you go get them yourself. That's the only 2 choices you have if that pay leg is going to grow. You're obviously posting twice a day and getting people to coming to you. Our system is miraculous. It is the biggest asset I've ever seen. So that's a third thing that is going on, but that's still going to be you recruiting and putting them in there. So what I try my best to do, and I think people like a Brian Cruzen that's here today, that's on a pay leg with me, that he's the first person on this particular pay leg that is serious. Like, he really wants this. So I'm not there every time Brian needs me. He will let you know for sure that I'm sometimes distracted, but he also knows that what I tell him every day is put me in front of people. And I'll remind him that tomorrow. Brian, put me on a 3-way, put me on a Zoom. Tell me when you need me to come to Memphis and do a presentation for you. Like, let me help you. And so you have to do that with them, because if Brian doesn't put me in front of people, or somebody else on that leg doesn't put me in front of people, then I've got to go find them myself. And so the answer is we're doing both all the time. If I can get both going, I'm constantly posting, I'm constantly recruiting, and I get my whole team. So it doesn't take it doesn't take Brian put me in front of 5 people. It takes Brian, me and him getting 5 people signed up, and those 5 people understanding the same thing. And now then, if Brian plus 5 people get me in front of one person next week, just one, that's 6 people. And if I'm ready, if you're ready and you can present a 12-minute presentation, you can overcome the dozen or so objections we're all going to get every time. No money, no time. I've tried that before. I don't see myself doing that. I don't like social media. We all hear the same thing. Don't think that people having success are not hearing the same excuses as the people not having success. It's all identical. It doesn't matter. They tell me the same things in Canada as they tell me in Texas. They tell me the same thing in Texas. They tell me in Virginia. Everything is the same. You just have to develop the skill set to overcome it and the patience to endure it, because it is a lot over time. I mean, anybody built a big business, Ann or whoever else is here, they'll all tell you that sometimes you just want to close your eyes and go to bed and start over the next day. And sometimes you have to. Okay, hopefully that helps. So here's the order. Here's not marching orders, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to meet every Monday at 10:15. This coming Monday, we will learn how to do a 10-minute presentation and be prepared for our 2-on-1 Zooms, our coffee shops, our drop talks, and our bigger meetings, because there's a discrepancy in how all those are done. We'll cover all of that. I'll make sure we understand the tools needed. So it'll probably take an hour to get all that done. In the meantime, if you have a group growing, and I only need about 8 to 10, at most, I could probably get away with 5. I was looking at Cindy Landis's presentation. She did in Las Vegas last night, and she only had 5 testimonials on her presentation. 3 products, 5 testimonials, and got into business. So I will have you a business and a product heavy presentation. You'll have both of those, because you're going to need one depending on one or the other, depending on what the approach was. But if you want that for your team and you're unable to do it yet, just put Sarah and I to thread and send us the 4 or 5 before and after pictures. And if there is a financial testimonial, we have to be careful with that with disclaimers, but we can also add that in, or you can just share it, however you choose. But put us in a thread together, and we'll have those ready to distribute. Risha, I will have yours to you today. Yours is finished. I just was tweaking the last slide on it this morning. And I'll probably get some others out that have already have your teams already built out. I don't need more from you. I just got to consolidate down what I've got too much of. And you guys all know if I have team PowerPoints for you, which are most all the big leaders here I do already.
Hey, Todd, can we please include a session on the how-to of an effective 3-way, how the upline mentor should behave and how the introducer brand partner should behave? Can we do a training on that?
Yes, Sarah, can we mark that down that we actually cover that next Monday too?
Yes,
Because
sir.
that's a huge part of this. So, and then we can come back and really spend a lot of time the following Monday on the 3-way, on the living room environment and the big meeting environment. Like, we'll go more in depth after we set the calls. But what Risha just said is, oh my God, it's so important. That's what I want to teach. Is I don't want to always be the 3-way person. I want to empower everybody to be the 3-way person for their own team, and then teach you to be that and keep forwarding it. I'll be honest, it's my number one weakness, because I am such a helper of people. Like, naturally, I love it. It's not hard to me. Doesn't put me out, until I realized that I was overcommitted and making more people mad than happy, because I couldn't get to all my commitments. And I realized I've got to become a better, I've got to start teaching more people to fish.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, so we are all set. Sarah's not with us. I've got all this down. She recorded this thing too, so we'll have it all. So next Monday, 10:15, get us slides or anything you want if you want to start putting things together for your team before next Monday. We'll have all that done.
Hey,
And I
Todd,
put
don't
my
forget
number in
me.
chat for you guys
I'm
as
calling you
well.
right now, Fred.
Okay.
Thank you.
Matter of fact, Fred, just I'm gonna hang us all up. Just come right back on here. That way I don't have to go outside.
Come right back on?
Yep.
Zoom. Yes, sir.
Okay. Everybody have a super great day. Be blessed.
Appreciate everything.
Great training. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
We're so thankful.
Thank you, Todd. Very
y'all.
grateful.
Thank you,
Awesome,
Sarah. Thank you,
Todd.
Todd.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Todd,
Thank
for
you,
your
Todd.
time.